Hi, everybody. Welcome back. It's Mr. Reality, and I'm graced by the presence of psychic medium Liz Cross. Liz, how are you?
Oh, the honor is all mine.
So, this was a request from one of your listeners, and you also would thought we'd do the Ark of the Covenant. I don't know if you've done that before, but it requires maybe a revisit, see what's there, what it really is. I wonder if we could do something like that.
Yes, please. That'll be great.
So, this is an ancient relic from the Bible and allegedly possesses great power and the power to kill people that look upon it. So, I don't know who should we bring in. Should we bring in Moses? Because Moses was the one that kind of worked on the ark. He wasn't the one that built it, but can we bring in
Yes,
Moses and ask him some questions?
I have Moses here.
Oh my
Wow.
gosh, Moses, thank you for joining us. How are you?
Mm, fantastic. Passover's coming up soon too.
So tell us, Moses, what does he look like to you, Liz? What does he appear to you as?
Very, very strong. Um, I'm like, how do I describe this dress that he has? I mean, not that he's wearing a dress, but what he has on. And it's very much like very simple clothing, simple cloth. It's short. His part of his legs are showing. He has on some sort of like boots that you lace up, or I don't even know how this thing works. I mean, this is all very uh simple, modern day in that time, modern day clothing. He does have a beard. He does have long, scraggly hair. He does not carry a stick, that is often depicted in a lot of pictures and movies and things like that. Did you wander the desert for 40 years? More than that, more
Yeah,
than
so
40 years.
here's a meme, Google Maps. It says it takes 6 days to walk from Cairo to Jerusalem. Did he not know just to turn left, or what was the reason behind the slow walk?
He thinks that's funny. Did you not know to turn left? No. Did you get lost in the desert? Yes. They got very lost in the desert. I mean, they
Allie,
didn't have any maps or anything like that back then.
right
Not
here. Yeah, just straight and then you go left. Alice Collier suggested that the reason they walked for 40 days or 40 years in the desert was so that the people that had a wheat allergy could die and then they could go into Jerusalem. Any truth in that, or is that a fallacy?
is there any truth? There's no truth in that. No.
Okay.
They got lost. And
Are we
so
there
what
yet?
did you do?
Are we there yet?
Yeah. Like, what did you do in the desert? I mean, they had to make the most of it. Did a lot of people die? A lot of people died. And how many, like percentage wise, how many of you lasted through? He said it was longer than 40 years. It's more like 50 years. So how many of you lasted? Only like 10%
Good
made it
Lord.
out. Mm.
So what if he can come back to the Ark of the Covenant and tell us, did he have any, was he actually instructed by God in order to build the Ark of the Covenant?
Were you instructed by God to build the Ark of the Covenant? I mean, it was like a download. Do you consider that the downloads back then were instructions from God? I mean, yes, you could call it that, but it wasn't a direct instruction, direct communication from God. And I'm going to ask him a question now. Were you a psychic medium in that lifetime? Yes, he was a medium.
Okay. How can we build one at home?
How can we build one at home? With great skill and insight.
Not helpful at all. What was
He's
the original
funny.
purpose of the Ark here?
What was the original purpose of the Ark of the Covenant? What was it? To hold the tablets, is what he said.
Was it a power source? Was it a weapon? Was it a communication device, or just like a big suitcase?
It was it was supposed to withstand the test of time. So so that God's word would always remain intact, is what he says. That was the purpose of it. Are those tablets still here today? No.
Did the tablets have like some radioactivity in them that was damaging to people, and the ark was like a lead shielding for them or something?
Oh, did the tablets, did they have any radioactive or anything like that? No. So what happened? Were they heavy? They were not particularly heavy, he says. And did you write the words on the tablet? No. Did the tablets, the commandments that were written on the tablets, who did that?
Was there really a burning bush that he saw when he was up on the Temple Mount?
Was there really a burning bush that you saw on the Yes, there was.
And what was that? Can you tell us now?
And what was that? It was just a inexplicable fire. It was so magical. It was so powerful. And especially when humans were operating at that level of consciousness, there was no scientific explanation for all of these things. Whereas
Is there
now,
now?
oh, that's a good question. What is there now? No, not really. No, but if this would have happened in the here and now in 2025,
Uploaded to YouTube and Twitter.
right, right. But also, there somebody would find some reasonable explanation behind it, right? But the reality is it is
Hmm.
the work of God.
How many other people went up with him, or was he alone to watch this happen?
How many people went up there with you? It was just him.
What were his interpretations, and could he read it? And what did the stones and tablets look like? What did they resemble?
What did could you read it? He could read it. And what did they look like? They were small. I mean, you could hold them in your hand, and he's showing me that they were more oval. Or did you say that they're more oval? I mean, they resembled more of an oval shape as opposed to a rectangular shape. That's how you knew that they were special. And the stone, was it made of stone like from the area where you were? Yes, but was that stone relevant or was that stone native to the area? No. So
Hmm.
it almost like changed the stone where it wasn't native to the area. It kind of looks like a black slate in a lot of ways.
Like obsidian or slate?
Yeah.
Did the burning bush say anything to him other than "I am what I am"?
Did the burning bush say anything to you other than I am what I am? No, no, but the burning bush had like a lot of power and energy behind it.
Was he given other downloads at the time that he didn't share or that we don't have in religious texts from this entity?
Um, were you given other downloads at the time? Loads of downloads. And were you able to record them? Some of them have been recorded. I mean, he spoke about them most of the time, and people would take notes of the information that he was receiving. Now, I have to ask, do you know for sure that the information that you received all of the time was from source? No, he wasn't sure. He just figured that that was what or who was giving him information. Standing in the here and now, do you think that that information was infiltrated by other entities? Of course it was. And do you think the dark may have infiltrated that information? And he says at times, yes.
Does he think the dark was a burning bush? And maybe by dark we say an ET intelligence?
Do you think the dark was a burning bush? No. Did you ever have any experience with ETs? Loads of experiences with them. I mean, he was a very high performing medium, right? And I mean high vibration, high, like he could talk to a lot of things. things were off limits, or things are off limits to a lot of mediums. You have to have a certain level of consciousness expansion in order to get more and more and more information, right? As you're starting out with your mediumship, you're building upon those foundations, and he did. But that whole thing with the bush talking to him, that's kind of like what I do, which is where anything that holds energy has a consciousness. And so I'm going to ask him, were you able to communicate with anything that held energy and had a consciousness? Pretty much.
What were some of the things he didn't share that he can share with us that he got as a download from the divine?
Hmm. Well, from what he thinks was a download from the divine. They often talked about galactic wars, space wars.
Mm.
Um, but he didn't find that very fascinating. I mean, he would just let them talk. And did you believe that was coming from God? He did at the time. And who was that coming in from now? As we are standing here, do you know now that it was coming in from something else? Yeah, it was coming in from ET. Um, and what about other stuff that you were told? He was told about floods, and he was told about fires and future predictions and things like that. Oftentimes he didn't share what was going to happen in the future because it was very scary for people, and he didn't want to scare people. There were earthquakes, wars, lots of things, famine, plagues.
Right. Those plagues, were they supernatural or technology induced or just natural environmental causes?
The
The 10
plagues, were
plagues.
they? Yeah, the right, which was, that's all about, this is all Passover. Passover is all Moses. Um, so what about the 10 plagues? What were those technologically created? Were they superficial? Did they really exist? No, they really existed. They really did. And I'm saying, well, how did that come about? Well, he believes Source gave the plagues to that region in order to make Moses more credible.
Was he really set in a basket and sent down the Nile and found by Pharaoh's daughter and taken into their house? Or is that make believe?
Were you really put in a basket and sent down the Nile? No. What really happened? He was stolen. He was stolen by the Pharaoh.
Hmm. And did he
That, sorry, that story about being sent in a basket down the Nile, that was to make it believable. But actually, he was stolen.
how old?
How old were you? He was a baby.
What did the Pharaoh know about him that thought he would be? Did the Pharaoh get a download or a divine inspiration that he has to take this person under his wing?
Why did the Pharaoh steal you? Because he comes from a long line of known mediums,
Hmm.
and he possesses this mediumship power. Now, you don't want to take someone in captivity. If you're trying to conquer a people or whatever, you don't want to take them when they're 20 and 30 years of age and then tell them, well, now you got to be my medium. Because if you do that, it's likely they're going to give you wrong information. But if you take them in under the belief system that they belong to you, you're hoping that the information that they give you is pure to whatever agenda that this Pharaoh had. Okay. That's how things operated. They had a very firm belief system in mediums for guidance and insights when they are going to be at risk of war, when the next attack is coming, when the next famine is coming, all of those things, because they wanted to be prepared for the future. And they firmly believed in divine communication.
So what was his upbringing like? And did he know that he'd been taken as a youth, or did he live in the Pharaoh's household as one of his own kids?
Did you know that you had been taken? Not till much later, not till he started channeling and he figured out what had happened because he was communicating with Source. He never felt as if he belonged with them. Were you
Hmm.
brought up to be like one of their children? I mean, for the most part, yes.
What was that like? That youth?
What was that? I mean, it was okay, but he always felt as if something was wrong. And he always felt as if he did not belong there. And were they always asking you to channel things? Yes. And they made it seem that channeling was so normal, like they could all do it. But the reality was they couldn't. And they were just wanting to get information. They wanted to put him in service.
What about his stepsisters and stepbrothers, either from the direct reign or sideline reigns?
I mean, he's saying that he pretty, he got on with them quite well. I mean, but again, he just was lost in his own mediumship most of the time. He didn't think too much about it, but he really did not feel as if he was one of them.
What did he know, or what did he tell the Pharaoh about the lost civilization of Atlantis?
Hmm. He told the Pharaoh about there was once a there was once a settlement. Would you call it a settlement? Yes, a settlement of Atlantis. Yes. And did you describe what was in it? Yes, all the time. And what did you tell him happened? It was wiped out by the kingdom of God.
How about the parting of the Red Sea? How exactly did that happen? Was it divine or technology inspired? And what happened?
Was there an actual parting of the Red Sea? Yes, there was. And how did that happen? You know, he was an extremely powerful medium. You know, the kind that can move objects with their mind,
Telekinesis, sure.
telekinesis. That's what happened because his belief in the divine communication that he was receiving was probably stronger than anybody ever on the earth plane, even back then or now. And because of that belief system being so strong, he could do whatever he wanted to do. He could manifest whatever he wanted to manifest or needed. I don't feel like he was trying to manifest things that were unreasonable. They were always need-based manifestations, but he made it happen.
I'd like to ask Moses for a big pile of gold right there, if he can. I'll be waiting for it. It still hasn't come yet from Bashar. But was there any ET presence involved with this, or did he use a staff? And can he explain the process exactly, how long it took, and how long it took them to get across, and how many people that were chasing him fell as victims there?
Hmm. So, how long did it take to part the Red Sea? It was immediate. It was immediate. And how many people were you leading across that? I think there was thousands, he's telling me, thousands. And then how quick was it? How long did it take you to get across? Well, it took some time. What, like an hour, 2 hours? How long? He doesn't really know in terms of time because they were running what he says they were running for their lives. And once everybody had made it over safely, then what happened? He clicked his fingers and it went back. And now that's when a lot of people were washed out. The enemy.
Did he use any scalar devices or a staff or magic or orbs or anything?
Did you use a staff? No, he just used his mind. Did you use any devices or anything? No. Did you ever take a look at our time now in the future? No. When did you last? Because he used to view a lot of future events. So what sort of time period was as far forward as you went? Was that going into like where, no, not now, but probably around the 1800s. But again, Moses was most interested in like plagues, famine, flooding, natural disasters. Where do we need to move the people in order to avoid these disasters and catastrophes, enemies, wars? That's what he was most concerned with.
What was the true purpose of manna? And was it a natural substance that they found while traveling, or is it something that they carried with them?
Hmm. What was the true purpose of manna? It was to give you insights. Was it like a substance or what do you can you give us a bit more explanation? Hmm. It was almost like a hallucinogenic.
Yeah, I was wondering if it was mushrooms.
Oh, really? Okay. You know your religious history more than I do. I don't know any of this stuff. Um, Mana, what it was like, was it a leaf or he's showing me like leaves and you rub the leaves between your fingers and you chew on it and it's like it's psychedelic. Did you take the mana? He did sometimes. He did, but it also alleviated a lot of fears. Would you say it's like ayahuasca? Exactly like ayahuasca.
Is it still around, or has it gone extinct?
Is it still around? No, it's still around. Not very much of it, but it's still around. Is it located in Israel, Jordan?
Where is the Ark of the Covenant now?
Where is the Ark of the Covenant now? Where is it? It's in Syria.
Hmm. Courtney Brown mentioned it was in Syria. Has it been taken over or destroyed by the rebel forces that are now engaged in that region, or is it somewhere hidden underground? Can you give us more? Well, I mean, not specifically, we don't want to know where it is, but generally, who's in control?
Is anyone in control of it? No. And where is it? Is it hidden underground? It's in a cave system underground.
Hmm. And are the tablets are no longer in there? Just the shell of it? Is it there any damage or like things that it could do to humans now? Or
Hmm. So this whole thing about if you look at it, it could destroy you. He put some sort of power, energetic power around it. Is that energetic power still there? No, it's dissipated. Where are the tablets? Why are the tablets not in there? They were stolen. They were stolen a long
destroyed?
time ago. So does someone somewhere have these tablets? Yes.
Who? Where?
Where are they? Are they in Israel? Are they in, oh my God, are you telling me Palestine? So you're telling me that hold on, let me just get some clarification because he's pointing. Are you saying that the tablets are in Palestine? No. Are they in Jerusalem? He believes they're in Jerusalem, buried in a vault.
Hmm. What it's been said he wasn't allowed to go into the promised land with them. Was it just because you were old, or was there a reason you weren't allowed to go? Is that true or misinformation?
Were you allowed to go into the promised land with them? He was. He was allowed. And what happened after that? They were taken from him, supposedly for preservation. And then what? But they kept them for themselves. There's a family that have these tablets and they know it. And it is a deep family secret, and they will not ever reveal them.
How many children did Moses have while wandering through the desert for 1,000 years?
Oh, how many children did you have? How many? About 14.
And what happened to your body? Was it hidden away, or is there still a tomb for you that they made and we just haven't found it?
No. What happened to your body? He was buried. He was like sent out to drift in the sea.
Ah, how did he die?
How did how did you die? He got some sort of almost like tuberculosis, lung disease, lung issues. Did you actually live to age 120? No, he did not live to age 120, because that's something that's always fascinated me. Like, why, why is it that we hear like so and so lived to 2, 3, 400 years old? So how did they count it then? How did they count it? The sun? What do you mean the sun? They tried to create like calendars, but they were so inaccurate. It was very difficult to measure time then. So, so what are you saying? Like 3 or 4 trips? So 1 year, okay, was equal to how many of the years perceived back then? So 1 year was equal to probably 3 to 5 years. It just depended upon the region and the tribes. And so there's a lot of inaccuracy when it comes to counting the actual age. So how old were you in now time? How old were you? He was about 80 when he passed, which was quite old back then.
Especially walking around the desert for 1,000 years. Did uh did he have any other encounters with other like tribes? I mean, how do you survive that long in the desert? Did they like set up camp for 4 months and then move, set up camp for 4 months and then move, or they probably weren't on the move the whole time?
Um, did you say? Yeah, they were nomadic. Absolutely, they were. And did you ever make it into the promised land? I feel like he just got into the promised land slightly, but he was quickly run out of there. He couldn't be in like he had to stay. He was like the most wanted man, right, of the time. He had to keep a very low profile. And did you live in the promised land? No. No, he lived outside of it.
And how
And
far outside?
how far outside? Oh, quite some way, he says, quite some way. So how did they take your body to water? I feel where he passed, there is some sort of the closest body of water is where they took him, because they knew that even if they could get their hands on his body, they would torture it. So they would burn it beyond all recognition. They did not want the spirit or the energy surrounding him to live. They wanted to make sure that that fire would have been put out, meaning the fire of his spirit. And That is why, so they put it out to water, yes. Mm.
Wh-
And how did you get access to water when you were roaming the desert? They they would have to create their own. So they would come across, I feel wherever it was they were in the desert, a lot of it was they tried to stay on the fringe of plant life. Okay. So did you actually walk across the desert? No, they stayed upon the fringes of the plant life. I mean, they did go inward sometimes, and they had a method for extracting water from plants and trees. And they would also have storage containers. So when they needed to go inwards and move a bit more, they would using the store, but it wasn't near enough, right? It was a lot of people died.
So there's been speculation as to who was the pharaoh. Was it Tutmos the third?
Was it Tutmos the third? Yes.
It was. Oh well, he was our first guess.
And he says he was very evil.
Tell us about that. How he was evil.
He was a deviant, a sexual deviant. Um, he would have, it off with children. Did he ever like abuse you? No, but the girls, yes. Even his own daughters.
Did he know the predecessor, Amenhotep the second?
Did you know the predecessor, Amenhotep the second?
Did you guys grow
No,
up together?
no, he says he didn't know him.
Did they
How
grow
did
up in
you
the
not,
same house?
how did you not know him? You know, he was educated and grew up separate to everyone else because again, his life was so important. You couldn't just have him as a regular child living a regular life. He had to be kept far away, hidden. People hated the Pharaoh.
Probably. What were some of the other prophecies that you had that you didn't write down that came to pass or that, yeah, that came to pass?
Other prophecies that you had written down, that you had not written down, that came to pass. A lot of his prophecies are in oral history, and a lot of them have been distorted. There were lots of wars that he predicted, the upheaval of the Jewish people. What else? The Spanish Inquisition. Did you know at the time it was Spain? No, but he often prophesized or predicted like persecution because their lives depended upon that.
What does he see for the current conflict going on in Israel?
It's doomed to fail. Why? Because Israel will never please everyone. And there's always going to be someone against Israel, he says.
So when he says doomed to fail, what does that failure look like, and what does he see for the region over the next 15 to 20 years?
Hmm. When you say doomed to fail, what does that failure look like? It looks like displacement, being run out of Israel, having to run for their lives. And I'm saying within the next 15 to 20 years, listen, I think what he's showing me here is, you know how we had this terrorist event that took place on October 7th? There's going to be more of those, and like people will be running for their lives, is what he's showing me. And will those be in Israel? Mostly. But any sort of place, according to Moses, where Jews congregate in large numbers. Do you believe that the tide is turning for the Jews? It's always turning for the Jews, he says. And do you believe that the Jews are in danger? Not immediate danger, no, but if you're projecting out into the future, there's always some sort of attack on Jewish people somewhere, he says. Now I understand that this is a one-sided conversation,
Sure.
and this is who we're talking to. We're talking to Moses. So don't go haywire in the comments about Palestine this and Palestine that. We're not asking Moses about Palestine. We're asking Moses for his viewpoint. We can do the Palestinian viewpoint another day. So this is what he's telling us. Like, he believes that there's going to be, do you believe that there's going to be another Holocaust? Eventually, yes. Do you believe that Jews will be run out of Israel? Eventually, yes.
Were there other tablets that he dropped and just didn't bring down, or did he bring them all down?
Did you bring all the tablets down? No.
Although he dropped some.
Don't.
Oh, what was on those other tablets that he dropped?
Well, we're on the other tablets that you dropped. It talked about fear a lot. What about fear? It was about how we should fear God in lots of different ways. But I'm saying, do you think just did people actually fear God back then? Yes, they did. They really feared God. Now, when we've probed source before, what is the strongest emotion? Is it love or fear? We always got fear. Fear is far stronger than love. It makes people do things. Fear makes people spring into action. Fear makes people go on the run. Fear makes you save lives. You don't save someone's life because you love them, right? And I'm thinking in terms of paramedics and things like that. Whenever you're in that sort of situation, the fear that you're going to lose the person is what makes your skills kick in. I don't want to lose them. It's not, this is a stranger and I love them. No, that's not how it works. It's fear. Fear is the strongest human emotion that we experience.
So what else was on the other tablets? And
What
did he do
else was
self editing, or he's like, I'm not taking that one down. They're gonna kill me. I mean, what was the
Did
motivation
he do
behind it?
any editing? No, he did not do any editing. No. Some of it was too frightening. It was talking about bloodshed. If you disobeyed, there will be bloodshed. It was too much for people to handle.
So what percentage did he show the people, and what percentage did he not show the people of the tablets that were laser etched while he was up there next to the burning bush?
What percentage? I mean, they got like 90%, right? But there was things that were just um too brutal to show. He wanted to be different. He didn't want to be like everyone else who had gathered gained a following. And it was, if you don't follow me, there will be bloodshed. bloodshed, war, destruction. He was trying to make it more out of love than out of fear. And I'm saying, what did you do with the tablets that you did? He smashed them. He smashed those tablets.
Well, that my next question brings us to the golden calf incident. So when he came down, allegedly, Aaron had created a golden calf idol, and he shattered the stone tablets in anger and burned the calf and ground it into powder, mixed it with water, and then forced them to drink it, and then ordered the execution of 3,000 idolaters that were down there. What's true? What's false?
Hmm. Did you smash the gold? Yes, he did. And did you smash the tablets? No, he didn't smash the tablets that he brought down. He smashed it with rock. He smashed it. And others helped smash it too. And sorry, what was the rest of that?
And it's alleged that Moses ordered the execution of 3,000 of the idolaters that put the golden calf together while he was up there.
Oh, did you order the execution of 3,000? Yes, he did. Was it about 3,000? Yes, it was.
Was that of his own followers? And what kind of karmic debts he got there?
Were those of your own followers? No, I don't feel that they were his followers. Um, they were worshiping this object. They were object worshipers.
Mm-hmm.
And the idea was to move away from worshiping objects. And what sort of karmic debt did you enter into? By major karmic debt? Because did you contract? Okay, let's ask this question. Did you contract in to be Moses? Yes, he did. That was soul contract. So you soul contracted also to kill these or have these people executed? Yes, he did. And how they were executed was terrible.
Isn't that kind of pharaonic in a way? I mean, isn't he now the person that he despised so much that he lived with in a way?
Do you despise as a soul? Do you so despise being Moses? There are elements about being Moses as a soul that he does despise, and it did breed a lot of self-hatred. But at the time, did you have empathy for the fact that you had ordered the execution of these people? No, because he was led to believe that this is what God wanted him to do. Okay, so let's ask this. Looking at it now, do you believe that that information was actually from God? That's a no. So who infiltrated your signal lines, your channels to tell you that information? It was the dark.
Hmm.
You see, this is how you have got to be able to control the flow of information, to make sure the signal lines are so solid they cannot be penetrated by entities, by, who knows out there. So he actually thought that God told him that information, but that was not true. That was not God telling him that. That was the dark. The dark had given him information, but at the time, how was he supposed to develop his mediumship abilities in order to, know who was talking to you? Well, and that's the problem with a lot of channelers too. This is where remote viewing comes in, because remote viewing teaches you how to control the flow of information. And a lot of channelers out there are just, picking up on energy. They don't even know who the energy belongs to. They don't know, you know what I mean? You have to be very specific with the information. If one channeler starts putting out information that this is going to happen, that's going to happen, well, now for some reason, wherever they got that information from, now it's building upon that energy. That whatever it is, that theory is now gaining energy. So now what's going to happen? Maybe another channeler who's looking for information, that that energetic theory is so big now that maybe that channeler is picking up on that theory, right?
Snowball, right?
Yeah, it's very difficult. Being a medium is not easy, as you can see from Moses. I mean, he made a lot of bad decisions. He killed many more than just 3,000 people. There were thousands of people killed because of Moses. And oftentimes it was wrong information because that information did not come from source.
Are there other miracles that he did while out there walking through the desert that we don't know about?
Are there any other miracles? Well, he said childbirth is a miracle. And there were
Did he
lots
have a
of
baby?
births out there. What about you specifically? He would create water. Um, he had that firm belief that he could do anything he wanted to as long as he put his mind to it. And he would manifest water,
Why didn't he send
manifest
asteroids down
food.
to the Pharaoh?
Sorry,
Why didn't he send asteroids down to attack the Pharaoh?
why didn't you send asteroids down to attack the Pharaoh? He just didn't think about it at the time. He lived his life on the run.
How old was he when he left the Pharaoh's house or training? And how long were they? You said 50 years in the desert. So at what point did he leave and start roaming?
Hmm. Well, I like that you use the word training. So, did you actually receive mediumship train? Yes, he did. And what was that like? It was very difficult. So, were you in sort of like a mediumship school? I mean, yes, there was. And how old were you when you left the Pharaoh? He was about 19.
Can you give us some of the lessons that he got in psychic school?
They they taught him how to use a lot of magic. Like, I think this is where the staff is coming in from. Did they use like magic wands back then? Yes, they did. They absolutely did. They used like magic wands and scrying things. I mean, he learned how to do that. What else did you learn? How to communicate, how to meditate, lots of different things. But he didn't use, did you use all of those things you um when you left? No, no. He believed, and see that when he left, he believes he was told by God it's time to leave. And it was so easy for him to leave. It was. He walked out.
I've had enough of this stuff. I'm going to the desert. Is he incarnated now? And how many lifetimes did he have up until he became Moses? And how many since Moses?
Are you incarnated now? No. How many lifetimes have you had as a human? Oh man, he's up there. How many? 5,000? No, five to six
Whoa,
hundred.
five, 600.
Mm-hmm. He's still up there. That's a lot. For I mean, how many human lifetimes will you have to endure? Probably 1,000 altogether.
Is that average for most? Or is that high because he murdered thousands of people?
Hmm. Is that average for most? No. Is it lower? It's average for him. Is that because you murdered? Yes, he has to repay all that karmic debt. Yes. When was your last lifetime? When were you last here on the earth plane? He was killed in World War II. And were you Jewish? Yes, he was. And were you killed in the concentration camp? No, he was killed in hiding.
Has he always been Jewish? Has he been other denominations or nationalities or
Have you always been Jewish? Mostly Jewish, yes. Why? Because he says he likes, I mean, he just, well, that's his bloodline, right? So oftentimes we follow the bloodline. But I'm saying even the Jewish population are intermarrying now. He goes, yes, that's true. Will
is
you be Jewish in your next lifetime? No. But then
i-
he will be a convert to Judaism. Wow.
is there a Moses bloodline that still exists from when you were around that is in power in some way? Or is there, people say that is a myth, people say that's true.
Yes, there is. There's a female who is a direct descendant from Moses. And where is she now? Is she in the Middle East? No. She's in Europe. Where is she in Europe? I feel like she is where? Is she in Germany, did you say? No. No, she's somewhere in Europe.
Is she
Maybe
in,
Austria or Switzerland.
is she in a
She's
political position
definitely
of
there.
power?
Is she in a position of power? No. Does she have children? Yes, she has a lot of children. Is she Jewish? Very Jewish. Is she ultra orthodox? No, orthodox,
Is she aware of
conservative.
her
Mhm.
lineage?
No,
When's he coming back?
next century.
What are some things that Moses thinks that we should all do in observance of the Passover season?
What do you think that we should do? All do in observance of the Passover season. He says it's about gratitude. That even though we're here experiencing life, we should have gratitude for being able to do so. And that's all he asks.
Is there anything about his story he would like to clear up with final thoughts?
He likes the legend of Moses. You know, there's a lot of, he said we'd be here for years about all the we were picking through all of the information, what's right, what isn't right. He said it's better just to leave it be because you're dealing with centuries of people who have believed this information to be true. And they're so militant in this belief system. So even trying to put the information out there would be, you know, very disruptive to their own belief systems. And you know, that's a hard pill for a lot of people to swallow, especially when it comes to religious information. They have been told that this is this way. And as we're finding out, I mean, this is now the second or third time that we have found that a lot of this information in the Bible and the Torah and the Old Testament, it was channeled information, but they're not sure who they were actually channeling. I mean, this is yet another confirmation. Well, I think I was channeling God, but I don't know. Now that I'm on the other side, no, I wasn't channeling God. I was channeling energy, or I was channeling an entity. And as we can see, Moses is very powerful. He was able to talk to like a bush. And I mean, back then, this is before remote viewing classes were out there. Did you have any? Would you consider, let's ask this question. Would you consider that the training that you had with the Pharaoh or in the Pharaoh's quarters, was that akin to modern day remote viewing training? I mean, yeah, in a way it was. It was how to pull information and where are you going to pull it from? So that, for anybody out there that wants to learn remote viewing, you need to talk to Mr. Reality because he's an excellent remote viewing instructor.
It takes
Um,
time. People don't want it to take time. They want it to be wham bam, remote viewing ma'am. And I'm surprised that so much of the story is true, to be honest. So I'm glad that we had this chance. I appreciate each and one of you out there for doing this and for, joining us. Please support Liz Cross on her patreon.com/remote viewing and beyond. You can go buy me a coffee or whatever. But Moses, I wanted to thank you and your lines for chatting with us and clearing some things up. And Liz, this has been, I don't know, illuminating to say the least.
well, yeah. I love Passover. It's coming up. Thank you so much for
Thank
putting
you,
this
Liz.
together. Thank
Super
you.
fun. Bye.